The sleek alien ship glided into Earth's orbit with the grace of a dancer. Inside, Ambassador Kreetal's four hearts beat rapidly as he prepared to meet the infamous Deathworlders. "Are you certain this is wise, High Administrator?" Kreetal asked, his translucent skin pulsing with nervous energy. On the view screen, High Administrator Xylith's stern face showed no emotion. "The Council has decided, Ambassador. Earth must be evaluated like all potential members." Kreetal nodded, though his doubt remained. Humans had been observed for decades before this first contact. They fought wars over imaginary lines on their planet. They thrived in environments that would kill most sentient species. They even ate plants that contained capsaicin, a defense chemical that caused pain for enjoyment. The landing party touched down on a flat area outside Washington. Government officials waited there with tense smiles and curious eyes. Kreetal noticed how casually they stood in the brutal Earth gravity. His own body, supported by an exoskeleton suit, felt heavy and awkward. Dr. Lisa Blackwell stepped forward. Her red hair caught the sunlight as she extended her hand. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador." Kreetal hesitated before mimicking the greeting gesture. Human skin felt hot to his touch. Their core temperature alone would cook most species from the inside. "Thank you for your welcome, Dr. Blackwell. The Galactic Council sends greetings to your world." Captain Frank Martinez stood beside Lisa. His muscular build and watchful eyes marked him as a protector. He didn't try to hide the weapon at his side. Kreetal respected this honesty. "We've prepared a meeting room," Frank said. "Unless you need time to adjust to our environment." Kreetal noticed the protective concern in the question. These predators were trying to be considerate. "My suit provides all necessary adjustments. We may proceed." Inside the building, Kreetal's science officer Mealy scanned everything with wide eyes. She jumped when a human sneezed nearby. "Fascinating," she whispered. "Their bodies expel pathogens at high velocity as a defense mechanism." "Please focus, Mealy," Kreetal said quietly. In the meeting room, Lisa offered refreshments. Kreetal declined politely, knowing human food contained enough sodium to stop his hearts. "The Galactic Council has observed Earth for some time," Kreetal began. "Your species has achieved remarkable progress despite evolving on what we classify as a death world." "A death world?" Frank asked, leaning forward. "Planets with extreme conditions, high gravity, atmospheric toxins, temperature extremes, dangerous wildlife, unpredictable weather patterns. Earth possesses all these traits, yet you thrive here." Lisa smiled. "It's just home to us." This simple statement sent a chill through Kreetal. What kind of beings grew up considering such danger home? "The Council extends an invitation for Earth to join our galactic community," Kreetal continued. "However, all new species must pass an entrance examination." "What kind of test?" Frank asked. "The Cosmic Labyrinth, a problem-solving challenge designed to evaluate species compatibility with galactic society." "Sounds reasonable," Lisa said. "What's involved?" "The labyrinth tests patience, intelligence, and collective problem-solving. Most species require approximately 100 of your Earth years to complete it." The humans exchanged glances. Kreetal misinterpreted their reaction as disappointment. "Do not worry. Species work in shifts across generations to solve it. We understand your lifespans are limited to around 100 revolutions of your planet." Frank laughed, the sudden sound making Mealy flinch. "Ambassador, I think there's been a misunderstanding. We're not concerned about the timeline. We're wondering why it takes so long." "The labyrinth is incredibly complex," Kreetal explained. "It requires deep contemplation and—" "When can we see it?" Lisa interrupted. "We'd like to send our team as soon as possible." Kreetal blinked all four of his eyes in success. The human delegation stepped onto the surface of Nexus Prime with barely contained excitement. The massive space station served as headquarters for the Galactic Council, home to representatives from over 300 species. Lisa Blackwell gazed upward at the impossible architecture, enormous curved structures that seemed to defy gravity. "Try not to look too impressed," Frank whispered beside her. "They already think we're primitives." A group of aliens approached. Cretal led them, accompanied by 3 distinctly different species. The first was tall and thin with glassy skin that revealed complex organs beneath. The second floated slightly above the ground, surrounded by a faint blue glow. The third resembled a mechanical beetle with multiple appendages that clicked and whirred. "Welcome to Nexus Prime," Cretal said. "Allow me to introduce representatives from other council species. This is Scholar Vix of the Tralaxians." The glassy being nodded stiffly. "This is Thought Speaker Elo of the Valerians." The floating creature pulsed its blue aura, and Engineer Prime ZK-447 of the Makari. The mechanical beetle clicked its front appendages together. Lisa smiled at each. "Thank you for your welcome. We're eager to learn about the council and begin the entrance examination." Scholar Vix spoke in a voice like wind through crystal. "The human delegation shows unusual haste. The Tralaxian approach to the labyrinth took careful planning for 17 years before we even began the test." 17 years of planning? Frank raised an eyebrow. "What exactly is this labyrinth?" They were led through wide corridors where aliens of all descriptions moved about their business. Many stopped to stare at the humans. Some even retreated into side passages to avoid them. "They act like we're going to bite them," muttered Dr. Sam Carter, the mathematician. His fingers tapped constantly against his leg, a habit when his mind worked on problems. In their defense, humans are one of the few omnivore predator species invited to join, Cretal explained. Most council members evolved from herbivore or filter feeder ancestors. They entered a vast chamber dominated by a glowing structure. It resembled a maze, but in 3 dimensions, with pathways that twisted through space in impossible patterns. Sections faded in and out of visibility as they watched. The Cosmic Labyrinth announced a new alien who approached them. This being had 6 limbs and skin that shifted colors with each movement. "I am Council Examiner Dralthun. I oversee all entrance examinations." The human team stared at the structure with varying expressions. Lisa looked curious, Frank skeptical, Sam fascinated, and Nicole Johnson, their tactical specialist, immediately began walking around it to view it from all angles. "The labyrinth tests a species' capacity for patience, cooperation, and higher dimensional thinking," Dralthun explained. "It cannot be solved by force or simple logic. It requires generational commitment." Joe Ramirez, their engineer, pointed at sections of the labyrinth. "Those patterns, they remind me of quantum probability fields." Dralthun's skin flashed purple with surprise. An astute observation for a first viewing. The Makari took 40 years to recognize that aspect. Engineer Prime ZK-447 clicked loudly, clearly offended. "How long did each of your species take to complete it?" Lisa asked. "The Tralaxians, 106 Earth years. The Valerians, 92 years. The Makari, 87 years, Dralthun said with evident pride. "The average across all species is 97 of your years." The humans exchanged glances. Sam was already sketching equations in his tablet. Nicole had completed her circuit of the labyrinth and was whispering to Joe. "May we examine it more closely?" Lisa asked. "Certainly, though I advise patience. Some species damage their mental health by attempting to process too much of the labyrinth at once." Frank stepped closer to the glowing structure. "We'd like to start right away." Thought Speaker Elo's blue aura flickered. "There is no need for such haste. Your species can establish a generational research team. Your great-grandchildren will see the completion." "With all due respect," Lisa said firmly, "we prefer to try our own approach." Dralthun's skin cycled through several colors. "Very well. The examination chamber is prepared. You may begin whenever you wish." As the humans followed the examiner, Scholar Vix leaned toward Cretal. "Such arrogance. The Deathworlders will learn humility when they face the true complexity of the labyrinth." Cretal wasn't so sure. Something about the gleam in the human's eyes made him wonder if the council had finally met a species that might surprise them. "Scion, you wish to begin immediately?" "Of course," Frank said. "No time like the present." As Cretal sent the request to the council, He couldn't help but wonder if the galaxy was ready for these impatient, confident Deathworlders. Perhaps the labyrinth would teach them the humility and patience they seemed to lack. How wrong he would turn out to be. The examination chamber was a large, circular room. The cosmic labyrinth floated in the center, its glow casting strange shadows. Council Examiner Dral Thune provided the human team with basic tools, data tablets, sensor devices, and communication equipment. These are the standard tools provided to all species, Dral Thune explained. You may use them to record your observations and communicate with future generations of your research team. Lisa thanked the examiner, who then retreated to an observation platform. Several aliens from different species gathered there watching, with curiosity. They're treating this like a zoo exhibit, Frank muttered. Let them watch, Sam said, already examining the labyrinth's outer structure. This is fascinating. The patterns shift based on observer position. Joe connected one of the sensor devices to his own tablet. These tools are pretty basic, but I can modify them to gather more data. Nicole walked slowly around the labyrinth, her military training evident in her precise movements. There are repeating sequences in the pattern shifts, not random at all. The team worked in silence for an hour, each focusing on different aspects of the puzzle. Lisa noticed that the alien observers were growing in number. Even Kretal had joined them, his four eyes blinking in sequence as he watched. Sam suddenly snapped his fingers. Got it. The labyrinth operates on a 7-dimensional mathematical model. That's why previous species took so long. They were trying to solve it. In 3 dimensions. 7 dimensions, Frank looked confused. 4 spatial dimensions plus time, probability, and... Sam paused, searching for words. Something like emotional resonance. The patterns respond to the observer's mental state. That matches what I'm seeing, Nicole added. The sections I approach with curiosity expand. The ones I approach with frustration contract. Joe looked up from his modified sensor. The whole thing is like a quantum computer. It's processing our responses and adjusting itself. Lisa gathered the team together. I think I understand why this takes other species so long. They're approaching it sequentially, solving one section, then moving to the next. But we don't have to do it that way, Sam said excitedly. If we work in parallel teams and coordinate our emotional and logical approaches, we could solve multiple sections simultaneously. On the observation platform, the aliens were becoming restless. Council Examiner Dral Thune approached Kretal. The humans are behaving strangely, Dral Thune said. Most species spend the first month just observing the outer layer. These Deathworlders are already attempting to interact with intersections. Kretal watched as the humans divided into pairs, each approaching different parts of the labyrinth. Perhaps they simply don't understand the complexity. Back on the chamber floor, Lisa and Sam focused on the mathematical aspects while Nicole and Joe worked on the structural elements. Frank coordinated between them, ensuring information flowed freely. This section responds to prime number sequences, Sam called out. And this one's reacting to harmonics, Joe shouted back. Lisa approached Dral Thune on the platform. We'd like to bring in another team member who's waiting on our ship, Dr. Olivia Green, a cultural anthropologist. Dral Thune's skin shifted to a confused yellow. A cultural specialist, the labyrinth is a mathematical and physical puzzle. With respect, we believe it's also a cultural artifact. It was designed by someone with specific cultural values and assumptions. Thought speaker Elo floated closer. In our 92 years of work, we never considered a cultural approach. Lisa smiled politely. Different perspectives are what humans do best. When Olivia arrived, she immediately began identifying symbols and patterns that reflected various alien cultural traditions. Look here. This section uses Tralaxian harmony concepts, and this part incorporates Valerian thought patterns. The alien observers grew increasingly agitated as the humans made more progress in hours than most species did in years. Scholar Vix turned to Engineer Prime ZK-447. This is unprecedented. Should we inform the High add 6 hours into their work? The human team had made extraordinary progress. Sam had developed an algorithm that predicted pattern changes in the labyrinth. He sat cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by floating holographic equations. The 7th dimension responds to emotional input, he explained to Lisa. That's why other species took so long. They were trying to solve it with pure logic. Joe had built interfaces that allowed them to interact with multiple sections of the labyrinth simultaneously. His fingers moved quickly across screens as he adjusted settings. It's like playing 5 piano pieces at once, he said. Difficult, but not impossible. Nicole had set up a coordination system, treating the puzzle like a military operation. Section 3 is ready for integration with Section 7. Frank, we need your input on the harmonic patterns. The alien observers had grown from a handful to dozens. Word had spread through Nexus Prime that the Deathworlders were attempting something unprecedented. High Administrator Xylith herself had arrived, her tall, elegant form towering over other aliens. She spoke quietly with Council Examiner Dral Thune, whose skin had settled into an anxious purple hue. How is this possible? Xylith asked. No species has ever approached the labyrinth this way. They are dividing it into components and solving them in parallel, Dral Thune explained. Each human specializes in different aspects. They communicate constantly. Kretal joined them, his translator working hard to keep up with the rapid human conversations below. High Administrator, I believe they may actually complete a significant portion today. Today? Xylith's 8-fingered hands gripped the railing. That would be disturbing. On the chamber floor, Olivia was identifying cultural symbols embedded in the labyrinth. This section contains Makari mathematical philosophy. The solution isn't just about the equation, but about how the Makari perceive mathematics as an expression of order. Lisa nodded and relayed this insight to Sam, who adjusted his algorithms. A large section of the labyrinth suddenly glowed brighter and seemed to lock into place. A gasp went up from the alien observers. Engineer Prime ZK447 clicked rapidly, clearly distressed. They've completed the Makari philosophy section, Dral Thune translated. It took the Makari themselves 17 years to solve that part. Frank looked up at the growing crowd of aliens. I think we're causing a stir. Lisa smiled. Let's keep going. Nicole, how's the Trilaxian harmony section coming? Almost there. Sam's algorithm helped identify the pattern sequence. Another section of the labyrinth locked into place. More aliens poured into the observation area, pushing to get a view of the impossible event unfolding below. Scholar Vix approached the High Administrator. This is unacceptable. The labyrinth is meant to teach patience and long-term planning. The humans are bypassing the very lessons it was designed to impart. Xylith raised a hand for silence. The test has no time requirement. If they can solve it, they can solve it. In a different part of Nexus Prime, the news had reached the military section. Admiral Korgath of the warrior Dravnir species called an emergency meeting. If the Deathworlders can solve the labyrinth in a single cycle, what else are they capable of? We must reconsider our defense strategies. Back in the examination chamber, the humans took their first break. They sat in a circle, sharing water and food rations they had brought. We've completed approximately 30%, Sam reported. At this rate, we could finish in, he calculated quickly, about 20 hours. Joe stretched his tired arms. The interfaces are working, but I need to refine them for the deeper sections. Olivia spread out her notes. The inner sections contain philosophies from the founding species of the Council. I think that's the true test, understanding their worldview. Lisa looked up at the nervous aliens watching them. They never expected anyone to get this far this quickly. They're afraid, Frank shrugged. We're just solving a puzzle. Nothing scary about that. It's scary to them, Lisa replied quietly. We're changing their understanding of what's possible. After a quick meal, the team returned to work with renewed energy. The labyrinth continued to shift and respond to their efforts, with more sections locking into place one after another. On the observation platform, Kretal watched with growing wonder and unease. The Deathworlders weren't just clever, they were rewriting the rules of what the Council thought possible. Administrator? The mechanical beetle's appendages clicked rapidly. Yes, the Deathworlders are demonstrating dangerous levels of problem-solving efficiency. As the day progressed, news spread throughout Nexus Prime. The humans were not following the expected path. They were not proceeding with proper patience and reverence. They were tearing through the labyrinth like a storm. 10 hours into the test, the human team had completed over half of the cosmic labyrinth. News had spread through every level of Nexus Prime. Aliens of all species crowded the observation platforms, corridors, and even pressed against the transparent walls of nearby chambers to catch a glimpse of the phenomenon. The Galactic Council chamber, normally used only for formal meetings, was now filled with anxious representatives demanding information and updates. "This is unprecedented," shouted a representative of the gas-based Nubulans. "If the Deathworlders can solve the labyrinth in a single day, what does this mean for our carefully balanced galactic order?" High Administrator Xylith sat at the center of the chamber, her usual calm demeanor showing cracks. "The test has no time requirement. We cannot disqualify them for efficiency." Admiral Korgath, his scaled skin darkening with anger, stood from his seat. "This isn't about rules. This is about the threat they represent. Any species that can compress a century of work into hours is dangerous by definition." From the other side of the chamber, Ambassador Trill of the Peaceful Elysians rose. Her delicate wings shimmed as she spoke. "Or they represent an opportunity. Imagine what humans could teach us about problem-solving and innovation." The chamber erupted in arguments. Some council members saw potential, others saw danger, but all agreed that something significant was happening. Meanwhile, in the examination chamber, the human team worked with increasing speed as they recognized more patterns in the labyrinth. "The intersections are based on the founding philosophies of the Council," Olivia explained. "They're testing if we can understand their core values." Sam's algorithm had grown more sophisticated, incorporating emotional inputs and cultural variables. "It's not just about solving the puzzle. It's about demonstrating that we understand why it was created." Joe had refined his interfaces to allow deeper interaction with the labyrinth. "Each section we complete makes the next easier. They're interconnected." Nicole directed team members with precise timing. "Lisa, we need your input on Section 12 now. Frank, move to support Sam on the central node." Council Examiner Dral Thune watched in stunned silence, his skin cycling through colors that had no translation. Beside him, Kree Tal recorded everything, knowing this day would be studied for generations. "They are approaching the halfway point," Dral Thune whispered. "No species has ever reached this stage without years of preparation." Scholar Vix had been watching for hours, his crystalline form rigid with disbelief. There must be some mistake, some flaw in the labyrinth's design. "The labyrinth is functioning perfectly," Engineer Prime ZK447 clicked. "Our monitoring systems confirm it. The humans are simply efficient." Thought Speaker Elo floated closer to the edge of the platform. "I sense great mental activity from them. Their minds work differently than ours. They make intuitive leaps where we would proceed methodically." On the chamber floor, Lisa looked up at the growing crowd. The alien faces showed a mix of emotions: fear, wonder, disbelief, and in some cases, excitement. "We're causing quite a stir," she said to Frank. "Let them stare," he replied. "We're just doing what humans do, solving problems." At that moment, Sam completed a complex sequence of inputs. A large central section of the labyrinth locked into place, glowing with bright blue light. The human team cheered. A collective gasp came from the alien observers. That section, the philosophical core of the labyrinth, had taken the Trilaxians 40 years to complete. High Administrator Xylith received the update in the council chamber. She stood, silencing the arguments around her. "The humans have completed 53% of the labyrinth. At their current pace, they will finish within this cycle." Silence fell over the council. For a moment, no one spoke. No one moved. Then Admiral Korgath broke the silence. "We must prepare contingencies. A species with this capability could pose an existential threat." 14 hours into their work, the human team faced their greatest challenge. They had reached the central core of the labyrinth, a section specifically designed to take at least 50 years to solve. This is different, Sam said, rubbing his tired eyes. The patterns here don't follow the same rules as the outer sections. Lisa studied the swirling, shifting colors. It's more abstract, less mathematical, and more philosophical. The team gathered around the core, their earlier energy fading as fatigue set in. They had been working nonstop, their bodies pushed to their limits. "We need a new approach," Nicole said. Her military discipline had kept her focused, but even she was showing signs of exhaustion. Joe ran diagnostics on his interfaces. "The core isn't responding to our previous methods. It's like it's asking a different kind of question." Olivia stepped forward, her eyes fixed on the shifting patterns. "I think I understand. The outer layers tested our ability to solve problems. This core is testing our understanding of why those problems matter." Frank looked confused. "What does that mean?" "It's testing our values," Olivia explained, "not just our intelligence." On the observation platform, the crowd had grown even larger. Many aliens had brought recording devices to document this historic event. Council Examiner Dralthun had called in specialists from various fields to observe and analyze the humans' methods. "They have reached the philosophical core," Dralthun announced. "This will surely stop their progress. No species has completed this section in less than 5 decades. Kretal wasn't so certain. "These humans have surprised us at every turn. I would not bet against them now." In the council chamber, emergency sessions continued as various factions debated the implications of the humans' performance. "What if they complete it?" asked a nervous representative of the Floxians. "Do we simply welcome them into the council as if nothing unusual has happened?" High Administrator Xylith maintained her composure, though her inner anxiety showed in the rapid tapping of her fingers. "The rules are clear. If they complete the labyrinth, they have earned their place among us." Back in the examination chamber, the human team regrouped. They were tired, hungry, and mentally drained. Some alien observers noted this with relief, thinking the Deathworlders had finally reached their limits. "Let's take a short break," Lisa suggested. "We need to clear our minds." They sat in a circle, sharing the last of their food and water. The aliens watched this simple act with curiosity. "They require frequent nutrition," noted a biological specialist. "Perhaps this is their weakness." After 20 minutes, the team returned to the core. Olivia had been studying her notes intensively. "The core contains elements from all the founding species of the Council," she said. "I believe it's asking us to demonstrate an understanding of their collective wisdom, how different perspectives can work together to create something greater than the sum of its parts." Sam nodded slowly. "That makes sense. It's not a puzzle to be solved, but a harmony to be achieved." "Like an orchestra," Joe added. "Each instrument plays its part to create a symphony." Nicole smiled. "Or like a military unit. Different specialists, working as one." With this new understanding, they approached the core differently. Instead of trying to solve it section by section, they worked to create balance and harmony between all sections simultaneously. The core responded, its patterns flowing more smoothly as they adjusted their approach. Slowly, it began to align. With their inputs, the aliens watched in stunned silence. The humans were not just solving the puzzle, they were demonstrating a deep understanding of the Council's founding principles. "Impossible," whispered Scholar Vix. "They cannot possibly understand concepts that took our species generations to develop." Yet the core continued to respond, its pattern stabilizing as the humans worked in perfect coordination. Thought speaker Elo's aura pulsed with intense blue light. "They understand. Somehow, these Deathworlders truly understand." In the medical observation room adjacent to the chamber, alien doctors monitored the humans' vital signs with concern. "Their bodies are under extreme stress," one reported. "Yet they continue. Their endurance is remarkable." As the 18th hour approached, the human team found their second wind. The core was responding more quickly now, sections locking into place as they worked. Frank looked up at the alien observers and grinned. "I think we might finish this thing before dinner," Ambassador Trill countered immediately. "Or they could solve problems we've struggled with for millennia. We must embrace this opportunity." As the debate ignited again, Xylith stared at the projection of the labyrinth. The Deathworlders were changing everything. The question was, for better or worse. Back in the examination chamber, the humans continued their work, unaware that their performance had thrown the entire galactic power structure into chaos. 23 hours after they began, the human team stood before the final section of the cosmic labyrinth. Their faces showed extreme fatigue, but their eyes remained determined. They had worked through the night by Earth standards, pushing their bodies and minds to their limits. "One last section," Lisa said, her voice hoarse from hours of continuous communication. Sam's hands shook slightly as he input the final variables into his algorithm. "The pattern is almost complete. I can see how it all fits together now." Joe made the final adjustments to his interfaces. "All systems aligned. We're ready for the final integration." Nicole maintained her position, coordinating the team's movements with military precision despite her exhaustion. "Everyone in position. On my mark." Olivia whispered to Lisa. "The final section represents the future of the Council, the harmony they hope to achieve among all species." The observation platforms were now completely packed with aliens. Many had abandoned their duties elsewhere on Nexus Prime to witness this historic moment. The chamber had never held so many beings at once. Hi. Administrator Xylith had moved from the council chamber to observe in person, flanked by security guards and advisors. Her expression remained neutral, but everyone could sense her tension. "They cannot possibly complete it," Scholar Vix insisted. "The final section requires deep understanding of cosmic harmony that takes generations to develop." Admiral Korgath had also arrived, his military staff analyzing every move the humans made. "Whether they complete it or not, we must reassess everything we thought we knew about Deathworlders." On the chamber floor, the team gathered around the final section. They placed their hands on Joe's interface devices and nodded to each other. "Now," Nicole said. They worked in perfect synchronization, each contributing their specialty to the whole. Sam provided the mathematical framework, Olivia the cultural understanding, Joe the technical implementation, Nicole the strategic coordination, Frank the practical problem-solving, and Lisa the scientific insights. The final section began, to pulse with light, responding to their combined efforts. The patterns shifted, aligned, and gradually locked into place. A low hum filled the chamber as the entire labyrinth began to glow more intensely. The aliens watched in stunned silence as the impossible unfolded before them. With a final surge of energy, the human team completed their inputs. The labyrinth pulsed once, twice, then erupted in brilliant white light that filled the entire chamber. When the light faded, the cosmic labyrinth had transformed. What was once a shifting, chaotic structure now formed a perfect, stable pattern of incredible complexity and beauty. Council Examiner Dralthun's skin cycled through colors so rapidly it appeared white. Complete verification confirms. The labyrinth is solved. Total time, 23 hours and 17 minutes. A deafening silence fell over the chamber. Then chaos erupted as aliens began talking all at once. Some were frightened, some excited, some angry, some in denial. The human team sank to the floor in exhaustion, leaning against each other for support. "We did it," Frank said simply. Lisa looked up at the transformed labyrinth. "It's beautiful when it's complete." High Administrator Xylith approached the exhausted humans, her tall form casting a shadow over them. The chamber quieted as everyone strained to hear her words. "In the name of the Galactic Council, I verify that Earth has completed the entrance examination." Her voice was steady but carried an undertone of disbelief. "Never in our history has any species completed the labyrinth in less than 84 years. You have done it in a single day." Sam managed a tired smile. "We work well under pressure." News of the completion spread through Nexus Prime like wildfire. In the military section, emergency protocols were activated. In the economic district, markets fluctuated wildly as species reassessed human potential. In the scientific sector, researchers demanded access to human problem-solving methods. Ambassador Cretal approached Lisa as medical staff began Cone Week after the humans solved the cosmic labyrinth. Nexus Prime hosted a formal ceremony to welcome Earth into the Galactic Council. The Grand Chamber was decorated with symbols from various member species, including a newly designed emblem representing Earth. Lisa, Frank, Sam, Nicole, Joe, and Olivia stood on the central platform, wearing formal uniforms provided by the Council. They had spent the past week recovering from their ordeal and meeting with various alien delegations, curious about their methods. High Administrator Xylith addressed the packed chamber. Today we welcome our newest members, the humans of Earth, have demonstrated unprecedented problem-solving abilities and a unique perspective that will undoubtedly enhance our galactic community. The human team could see that the chamber was divided. Some aliens applauded politely, while others remained silent, their body language showing concern or even fear. Ambassador Cretal presented Lisa with the official council membership emblem. "With great power comes great responsibility," he said quietly. "Many eyes will be watching Earth's progress." After the ceremony, various faction representatives approached the humans with offers and proposals. The scientific delegation, led by Scholar Vix, requested research partnerships. "Your approach to the labyrinth suggests cognitive processes we wish to understand better." The Elysian Diplomatic Corps offered cultural exchange programs. "Your species appears to possess unusual empathy across different value systems," Ambassador Trill explained, her wings shimmering with genuine interest. Not all approaches were friendly. Admiral Korgath made his position clear. "Several defense-focused species have formed a mutual protection alliance. We hope there will never be a need to activate our contingency plans." Lisa understood the thinly veiled warning. "Earth comes in peace, Admiral. We solved a puzzle. We didn't declare war." Korgath's scaled skin darkened. "The speed at which you solve that puzzle suggests capabilities that concern us. A species that compresses a century of work into a day is unpredictable." Later, during a private meeting, High Administrator Xylith shared some surprising news with the human team. "The Council has voted to modify future entrance examinations," she said. "Your performance revealed flaws in our evaluation methods." "Flaws?" Frank asked. "We designed the labyrinth based on how our founding species approach problems, methodically, generation by generation. We never considered that different evolutionary paths might lead to different problem-solving approaches." Sam nodded. "On Earth, we had to adapt quickly to survive. Our history forced us to innovate or perish." "Precisely," Xylith said. "We now understand that the test measured patience and persistence but failed to account for adaptability and creative thinking." Before the humans departed for Earth, Cretal requested a final meeting with Lisa. They stood in an observation deck overlooking the vast expanse of space. "I have been assigned as permanent ambassador to Earth," he said. "The Council believes I have developed useful insights into human nature." Lisa smiled. "You mean they think you're not afraid of us anymore?" Cretal's translator struggled with his laugh. "Perhaps. I have been authorized to share certain technologies with your world as a gesture of good faith, and also some warnings." "Warnings?" "Not all species will welcome humans with open arms. Some fear what you represent: change, unpredictability, rapid advancement." "We just want to be part of the galactic community," Lisa said. "We're explorers, not conquerors." "I believe you," Cretal said. "But belief requires evidence. It will take time for others to see humans as you see yourselves." The journey back to Earth was filled with excitement and concern. The team knew they were bringing both opportunity and challenge to their home planet. When they landed, they were greeted as heroes. News of their achievement had preceded them, and crowds cheered their arrival. In her first press conference, Lisa was careful with her words. "We've joined a vast community of intelligent species. We have much to learn and much to offer. But we must proceed with wisdom and humility." That night, as Lisa looked up at the stars from her apartment window, she thought about the path ahead. Humanity had impressed the galaxy with their problem-solving abilities. Now they needed to show they had the wisdom to use those abilities responsibly. On Nexus Prime, High Administrator Xylith made a note in the official records. The arrival of humans may mark the beginning of a new era. For better or worse, the galaxy will never be the same. Hecking the human team. You have changed everything, he said quietly. The galaxy will never be the same. Lisa looked around at the chaos they had caused simply by solving a puzzle. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Kretel's four eyes blinked in sequence. I believe the answer is yes,